37.9 inches. That is not the total for an entire winter season. That is how much snow fell on Providence, Rhode Island in a single storm. 48 hours, one storm. A number that shattered the previous record set nearly 50 years ago in 1978. And right now, as you watch this, more than 225,000 Americans are still without power across the Northeast. Temperatures are not climbing above freezing today, and a second round of snow is already on its way. In the next few minutes, I am going to give you something nobody else is giving you right now. Not just what happened during the blizzard of 2026, but the exact timing of what is hitting the Northeast again as early as tonight. Which cities get snow first? When it peaks? When it moves out? And then I am going to tell you what is coming in the first week of March that should have every single person from the Ohio Valley to New England paying very close attention. This is not a recap video. This is a warning about what is still ahead. And if you are watching from anywhere between Philadelphia and Boston, you need to hear every word of what comes next. Here is the important part. The blizzard of 2026 just became the single most powerful winter storm to hit the Northeast in recorded modern history for multiple cities simultaneously. Providence, Rhode Island recorded 37.9 inches, completely obliterating the previous all-time storm record of 28.6 inches set in 1978. Whitman, Massachusetts recorded 33.7 inches. Central Islip, New York logged 31 inches. North Stonington, Connecticut measured 30.8 inches. Lyndhurst, New Jersey came in at 30.7 inches. 5 cities, 5 all-time or near all-time records, broken by a single storm in 48 hours. According to FlightAware, more than 10,000 flights were canceled between Sunday and Tuesday. On Monday alone, roughly 5,600 to 5,700 flights were scrubbed, representing nearly 20% of all scheduled departures nationwide. LaGuardia Airport canceled 98% of its flights, JFK, 91%. Newark Liberty, 92%. Boston Logan, 92%. Here is what nobody else is covering right now. While the nation is focused on the aftermath, high-resolution weather models are showing a loaded pattern for the next 10 days that could bring not 1, not 2, but potentially 3 additional rounds of significant winter weather to the exact same regions that were just buried. If you live anywhere from Pittsburgh to Portland, Maine, the situation is about to get more complicated. But here is the terrifying part about what is still developing to the west. We will get to that in a moment. To understand why this storm was so catastrophic and why the pattern is not finished, you need to understand what forecasters call a bomb cyclone. This is not a dramatic nickname. It is a precise meteorological term. A bomb cyclone occurs when a storm's central pressure drops at least 24 millibars in 24 hours. The blizzard of 2026 dropped 41 millibars in 24 hours. That is 70% beyond the threshold. Think of it like an explosion in the atmosphere. The faster the pressure drops, the faster the winds accelerate. That is why wind gusts reached 83 miles per hour in Nantucket, 77 miles per hour in Wellfleet, Massachusetts, 74 miles per hour in Kingston, Rhode Island. Hurricane-force winds. Over land. In February, the storm developed from a convergence of energy from the Ohio Valley, merging with moisture streaming in from both the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean simultaneously. Meteorologists described it as almost resembling a winter hurricane. The National Weather Service in Boston said, "It completely smashed it. We were just as shocked as everyone else," referring to Providence's snowfall record. Now, here is the question that should keep you thinking. If forecasters knew this system was going to be historic, why were so many people caught off guard? We will address that. But first, a quick question for you watching right now. Where are you located? Drop your city and state in the comments. If you are in the Northeast or the Ohio Valley, tell me specifically. I want to give you the most precise forecast for your exact area as this next system develops. Thousands of viewers have already shared their location and are getting direct, personalized updates in the comments. Do not wait. Type it now. The atmospheric mechanism responsible for the blizzard of 2026 is not gone. The northern jet stream is locked in an active pattern, and cold air from Canada continues to funnel south in repeated waves. That is what makes what comes next so significant. Here is your critical timeline for both what just happened and what is coming next. Follow this carefully. Sunday, February 22nd, late evening. The storm begins moving into the tri-state area. Snowfall rates quickly climb to 2 to 3 inches per hour. This is not ordinary snowfall. This is the kind of rate that renders roads impassable within 30 minutes of plowing. By midnight Sunday into Monday morning, February 23rd, blizzard conditions lock in across all 5 boroughs of New York City, Long Island, coastal Connecticut, and most of New Jersey. Winds gust above 40 miles per hour. Visibility drops to near zero. Monday, February 23rd, morning. Boston Logan International Airport ultimately records 31.8 inches across the entire storm event, placing it among the snowiest single storm totals in the city's history. At the peak of the storm, more than 250,000 customers in Massachusetts alone have lost power. Monday morning. Central Park in New York City officially records more than 19 inches. Newark registers approximately 27 inches. LaGuardia records 22 inches. JFK records approximately 20 inches. Monday afternoon into evening, Providence, Rhode Island crosses 37.9 inches. The storm is historic. It is official. Now, here is what is happening right now. Today, February 25th, a fast-moving clipper system originating from southern Canada is already producing snow across parts of Michigan's Upper Peninsula and Wisconsin. This is not a rumor. It is on radar right now. Philadelphia, listen carefully. This is important. According to the latest models, this clipper system spreads its snow shield across Pennsylvania and the Mid-Atlantic in the very early morning hours of Wednesday, February 26th. Light at first. Do not be fooled. The accumulation builds quickly as the band pushes through. Your morning commute Wednesday is going to be impacted. New York City, New Jersey, and coastal Connecticut. Your snow follows shortly after Philadelphia, with the main shield arriving in the pre-dawn to early morning hours Wednesday. 1 to 3 inches for most of you, but that is not the whole story. Boston, Providence, Hartford, and southern New Hampshire. Your shield of snow pushes through during the mid-morning hours Wednesday, later than areas to your south and west. By midday, the main band exits, but snow squalls, meaning brief bursts of heavy snow combined with gusting winds, will continue into Wednesday evening as another shot of Arctic air reinforces behind the system. Tug Hill Plateau in upstate New York, pay close attention. Lake enhancement off the Great Lakes will boost your totals significantly. While most of the region sees 1 to 3 inches, you are looking at potentially 6 or more inches out of this system. You are in a unique position right now. But here is what you really need to worry about. That is not the last system, not even close. What the models are showing for early next week is what comes next in this report, and it is the part you absolutely cannot miss. Now let us talk about what this storm actually meant for real people, because numbers on a weather map do not capture what happened across the Northeast over the past 48 hours. Imagine standing at Philadelphia International Airport with a ticket, a bag, and nowhere to go. That is exactly where Alyssa Myers found herself on Sunday afternoon when her flight to Albuquerque was canceled. She rebooked. It was canceled again. She rebooked a third time. Canceled again. Standing in the terminal on Tuesday, she told CNN, "If you don't have to go, cancel the trip, get the refund, wait for warmer weather." 3 days. Multiple cancellations. One of millions of Americans whose plans were erased entirely. In southeastern Massachusetts, 85% of Barnstable County lost power. Not a neighborhood, a whole county. People woke up Monday morning to no heat, no light, and temperatures that were not going to climb above freezing. And the power company, Eversource, said it will take days. Days without heat in sub-freezing temperatures for elderly residents, for families with young children, for people on medical equipment that requires electricity. Storm chasers standing in downtown Plymouth, Massachusetts, described 60 to 75 mile-per-hour wind gusts that literally pressed snow horizontally against every building in the downtown area. AccuWeather correspondent Ollie Reed standing on the coast, leaned backward into the wind and said, "That is the wind holding my body up. That is not dramatization. That is what coastal Massachusetts felt like during the worst of this storm." The Massachusetts State Police helped more than 500 drivers who became stranded in the snow in a single day. 500 rescue calls, in one state, in one day. Let us recap the most critical numbers for those just joining. 37.9 inches in Providence, more than 10,000 flights canceled. 600,000 homes and businesses lost power at the storm's peak. More than 225,000 customers remain without power right now. As of today, February 25th, the storm dropped pressure 41 millibars in 24 hours, making it one of the most intense bomb cyclones ever recorded over the northeastern United States. This is not hype. This is not exaggeration. Meteorologists and emergency managers do not apply the term historic lightly. This one earned it in every possible way. If you are currently dealing with the aftermath, if you are without heat, without power, or trying to navigate travel cancellations right now, drop your location below. I am reading every comment, and I will give you the most current information I have for your specific area. Here is the important part about what this storm did beyond the snowfall totals. This was not just a snow event. We are looking at a total aviation system collapse, a regional power grid emergency, a ground transportation shutdown, and a humanitarian crisis for hundreds of thousands of vulnerable residents, all happening simultaneously. 4 disasters layered on top of each other. At the airport level, the numbers are staggering. Republic Airways canceled 873 flights, 76% of its operations. JetBlue canceled 779 flights, 80% of its schedule. Delta canceled 684 flights, United 656, American Airlines 619. Those are not delays, those are cancellations. Passengers were stranded for days. International carriers buckled as well. Air India suspended all flights to and from JFK and Newark on February 24th. Lufthansa canceled flights to New York and Boston departing February 23rd. Nearly a quarter of all inbound international flights to the United States were disrupted at the storm's peak. On the roads, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts banned non-essential travel entirely. New York City temporarily closed streets, bridges, and highways. The Massachusetts State Police issued their own travel advisory. And yet, 500 drivers still needed to be rescued. For the Boston Globe, a newspaper that has published continuously for more than 150 years, the storm was too much. The paper announced it would not publish a physical edition because staff could not safely reach the printing press. More than 150 years of uninterrupted publication, gone in one storm. But here is what most people are not paying attention to right now. Recovery from this kind of infrastructure shock does not happen in a day. Eversource has said restoration for the last customers in southeastern Massachusetts could be several days away. And with another storm arriving Wednesday and potentially another major system early next week, the question is not just when power comes back, it is whether it can stay on. The official response to the blizzard of 2026 was, by most measures, substantial. But was it enough? That is the question worth asking. New York Governor Kathy Hochul declared a state of emergency in more than 20 counties before the storm made landfall. 100 National Guard members and 25 vehicles were pre-positioned across downstate regions. The State Emergency Operations Center was activated. New York City deployed 700 salt trucks the moment 2 inches of snow had accumulated. Mayor Zohran Mamdani activated the Code Blue emergency protocol, expanding homeless shelter access immediately. New Jersey Governor Mickey Sherrill declared a state of emergency as well. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey issued a travel ban for southeastern Massachusetts that remained in effect through Tuesday morning, February 24th. Vermont Emergency Management, responding to a mutual aid request from Massachusetts officials, sent crews and Department of Transportation equipment north to assist with snow removal. Airlines took a proactive approach as well. Delta began canceling flights at its Boston, JFK, and LaGuardia hubs before the storm arrived, specifically to avoid trapping aircraft out of position. JetBlue issued one of the most comprehensive travel waivers in recent memory, allowing passengers to rebook through March 4th or request full refunds with no fees for flights scheduled February 22nd through 26th. But here is the question worth raising. If models predicted this storm's intensity days in advance, and officials knew blizzard warnings were coming for all 5 boroughs and most of the Northeast, why were power restoration plans not fully pre-staged in the hardest-hit coastal counties of Massachusetts? With 85% of Barnstable County losing power, and the utility now saying restoration could take days, that is a question communities and officials will need to examine carefully before the next historic storm. And based on what the models are showing, that conversation needs to happen soon. Here is the important part about what the blizzard of 2026 means going forward, because this event does not exist in isolation. It is part of a larger and deeply concerning pattern that forecasters are watching very carefully right now. The northern jet stream is in an unusually active configuration. Cold air has been piling up in Canada and repeatedly diving south into the eastern United States. The Northeast has now recorded its 5th consecutive weekend of accumulating snowfall. Boston is currently sitting nearly 10 inches above its seasonal average following this storm alone. This is not a random bad week. This is a locked atmospheric pattern, and it shows no signs of breaking. Meteorologist Gerald, tracking the extended models, described it plainly. The northern jet stream is, quote, just really loaded up, with repeated shots of Arctic air clipping into the Northeast through at minimum the first week of March. European ensemble models and the American GFS model are both in agreement on multiple additional storm systems. That level of model agreement at this range is notable. Here is what nobody else is telling you yet. Early next week, specifically around Monday, March 2nd, a more significant storm system is being flagged by both the European and American models, with 60 to 70% probability of at least 1 inch of snow across the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast. This is not a minor clipper. This is a system with cold air support and moisture fetch to produce meaningful accumulation, and if it tracks slightly north, New England is directly in its path. Additionally, there is a second system being modeled for around Wednesday, March 4th, that could potentially bring additional snowfall to the interior Northeast. And somewhere in this same time window, forecasters are flagging a potential freezing rain threat for the mountains and foothills of North Carolina, western Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Ice, on top of snow, on top of already exhausted communities. I will have a full dedicated video breaking down both of those systems as the models refine. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on, because when those videos drop, the information in them could directly affect your safety. Let us bring this all together. 37.9 inches in Providence, the largest single storm snowfall in Rhode Island history. More than 10,000 flights canceled across 3 days, making this one of the worst aviation disruptions in United States history. 600,000 homes and businesses lost power at the storm's peak, more than 225,000 still without power as of tonight, February 25th. Wind gusts hit 83 miles per hour in Nantucket, 41 millibars of pressure drop in 24 hours. A bomb cyclone that meteorologists are calling one of the most intense ever recorded over the eastern United States. And it is not over. Another round of snow arrives for the Northeast in the early morning hours Wednesday. Another major system is being flagged for early next week around March 2nd. A potential freezing rain event is on the horizon for the Mid-Atlantic and southern Appalachians around March 4th. The pattern stays active through at minimum the first week of March. Share this video with everyone you know in the Northeast, the Ohio Valley, and the Mid-Atlantic. They need to see this. They need the timeline. They need to know what is coming. This is not hype. This is not exaggeration. The blizzard of 2026 just happened. The records are real. The power outages are real. The stranded travelers are real. And the next systems on the models are real. One last question for everyone watching. After 5 consecutive weekends of accumulating snow across the Northeast, and with more systems lined up through the first week of March, is the aging power infrastructure in coastal New England actually built to handle what this new era of winter weather is becoming?